Are you looking for the best laptops? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best laptop on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Dell XPS 139310 Thin and Light Touchscreen Laptop. If you need a portable device for general productivity tasks like web browsing, text formatting, and video playback, we recommend the Dell XPS 13 2021, the best laptop with a thin and light design we've tested. It's a sleek and stylish Windows laptop with incredibly thin bezels and a sturdy aluminum chassis. It's compact and lightweight, making it easy to carry around, and its battery lasts over 10 hours of light productivity. It charges over USB-C, so you don't have to worry about lugging around a proprietary charger. When it comes to user experience, the XPS 13 is truly among the best. It has a colorful 1080p display that gets bright enough to combat glare, and you can upgrade to a 4K IPS or OLED panel, albeit at the cost of shorter battery life. The keyboard feels great to type on and isn't tiring as its scissor switches have a good amount of travel and satisfying tactile feedback. The touchpad is reasonably large for such a compact device, and it tracks all movements and gestures well. As for the configuration, unless you have an extremely light workload, most people should get at least a Core i5 with 8GB of memory. Going up to 16GB of memory isn't necessary, however, keep in mind that the memory isn't user upgradable, so it's better to get more up front. Unfortunately, you only get 2 USB-C ports, a microSD card reader, and a headphone jack, but at least both USB-Cs support Thunderbolt 4. Overall, this is a great option for anyone looking for a portable and stylish laptop, and as many people are still working remotely, it's also one of the best laptops for home use. At number 2. Apple MacBook Air 13 M1 2020. On the macOS side, the obvious choice is the Apple MacBook Air 13 M1 2020. Not only is it compact and lightweight, but its M1 processor packs more than enough power to handle general productivity tasks and even some light video editing and gaming. On top of that, it can do all of it while remaining completely silent because it's a fanless device, which is great if you're noise sensitive or plan to use it in a quiet office or classroom. The battery lasts a little over 13 hours of light use, and even if you need to plug it in, its 30W charger is small and fits easily into most bags. As you would expect, the build quality is outstanding. It's a solid piece of aluminum with no flex in the display or keyboard deck. The screen is bright, sharp, and colorful, and the keyboard isn't fatiguing to type on for extended periods. Its gigantic haptic touchpad tracks all movements and gestures well, and its webcam captures a clear image for video calls. The port selection could be better as it only has 2 USB-C ports and a headphone jack, though that's usually a trade-off for such a compact form factor. Other features include a fingerprint sensor built into the power button, which you can use to log in quickly, authorize purchases on the App Store, and autofill passwords saved on your iCloud account. As is typical with most thin and light laptops, the memory and storage aren't user replaceable. Most people can get by with 8GB of RAM, though it may be worth getting more if you tend to have a lot of things running simultaneously. So, if you prefer macOS or are willing to give it a try, the MacBook Air is an easy recommendation. At number 3. Acer Chromebook Spin 713. If you have a light workload and can perform all of your tasks in a Chrome browser, a Chromebook might be a good fit, like the Acer Chromebook Spin 713. It's a 13-inch 2-in-1 convertible with a 360-degree hinge, which means you can use it as a tablet or go into tent mode for presentations and media consumption. It's compact and lightweight, and its battery lasts over 12 hours of light productivity, long enough to get you through a typical school or workday. Since Chrome OS is a light operating system designed for low-end hardware, the Core i3 model with 4GB is more than adequate to provide a smooth desktop experience, though you'll have to limit the number of apps you have open at once. It's worth going up to 8GB, but expect to pay a little more. Its QHD display has a 3:2 aspect ratio, which gives you more vertical space so that you don't need to scroll as much when reading a document or website, and it gets bright enough to combat glare. The keyboard feels comfortable to type on and is quiet, so you don't need to worry about causing too much noise in a quiet classroom or office. If you've never used a Chromebook before, just know that it doesn't support regular Windows x86 applications. It means you can only use web-based applications through the Chrome browser, Android apps, or Linux apps. If you need x86 applications for your school or work, you're better off with a Windows device. Nonetheless, this is a great thin and light productivity laptop worth checking out. At number 4. Lenovo Yoga 9i14, 2021. If you need a 2-in-1 convertible Windows laptop, go with the Lenovo Yoga 9i14, 2021. It's a thin and light laptop with a sturdy build and a sleek design. It's available in 2 color schemes, mica and shadow black, but there are a couple of differences that you should know. The mica model's lid is just aluminum, and it has a traditional touchpad with mechanical buttons and a capacitive fingerprint sensor. However, the shadow black model has a leather-clad lid, a haptic touchpad, and an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. Also, you can only get the shadow black model with a Core i7 CPU. The 1080p display is sharp and colorful, and it gets bright enough for use in well-lit settings. You can upgrade to an even brighter 4K panel if you prefer, though expect the battery life to take a hit. The included stylus has 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity, but it doesn't support tilt, so it's more for note-taking and quick doodles than actual drawing. The keyboard feels spacious and tactile, and while the touchpad is a bit small, it tracks all movements and gestures well. The port selection is good and includes 2 USB-Cs with Thunderbolt for support, a USB-A, and a headphone jack. The battery lasts about 9 hours of light use, which is just barely enough to get through a typical 8-hour day, though you may have to plug it in if you perform more demanding tasks. As for the CPU and memory configurations, you can choose between a Core i5, mica model, or i7, and 8GB or 16GB of RAM, depending on your needs. Overall, it's a great option for anyone looking for a Windows 2-in-1 convertible. At number 5. Lenovo Legion 5 Gen 615, 2021. If you're shopping on a smaller budget and find the Asus ROG Zephyrus G14, 2022, too expensive, consider the Lenovo Legion 5 Gen 615, 2021. It's a well-built 15.6-inch laptop with many configuration options. You can choose between an AMD Ryzen 5 or Ryzen 7 CPU and various NVIDIA dedicated GPUs, up to an RTX 3070. It's available with 8, 16, or 32 GB of memory. However, we highly recommend getting at least 16 GB as 8 GB isn't enough for some games and will cause stutters. The memory is user replaceable, meaning you can upgrade it yourself later. In terms of the display options, it's best to go with the 1080p or 1440p 165Hz panel for the best visual experience. If you choose to get the 1440p display, you'll have to pair it with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070 GPU to get the most out of it. Otherwise, any GPU will do if you plan on only gaming at 1080p. The AMD Ryzen 5 5600H is more than powerful enough for gaming, but it might be worth upgrading to the Ryzen 7 5800H if you plan on keeping the laptop for a long time. If you plan on gaming on the go, this laptop isn't overly bulky, but it's heavy. Thankfully, the power adapter is relatively compact, and you'll need it as the battery lasts only a little more than 1 hour when gaming. Nonetheless, this is a good option to consider if you're shopping on a limited budget.